Hello. All right. Good morning, New Life. My name is Bryan Li, and I'm a part of the Kijabe House Church, shepherded by Brian and Julie Chong. And then, although through these days, we affectionately refer to him as Old Brian, now that I'm here. So first off, I want to thank Brian and Julie for always guiding our house church with such wisdom, grace, and intentional care. You've been so inspiring to me throughout these last couple of months and throughout my whole spiritual growth. You both do so much behind the scenes, and we always feel like we're on the receiving end, and we're not able to give back to you as much as we would like to. So throughout the last couple of months, you guys have been checking in on us, preparing, praying, and planning for just house church events and serving the church overall. And personally, although that was from our house church in general, but personally, I'm especially grateful for how much time and energy you've invested in me. Over the last couple of months, it's no small feat to turn a non-believer into someone who is serving of Christ and believes in our Holy Father. I knew it was a challenge, and you've challenged me in all the right ways when it comes to being a devoted Christ follower, and that kind of investment has made a huge difference in my journey to beginning my walk with Christ. So a little backstory. I first came to New Life around October of last year. At that time, I was attending the church pretty inconsistently, on and off, for like 2 or 3 months, and still being uncertain about what I believed in honestly. And it was just me overall struggling to see the goodness of Jesus Christ. So growing up, I wasn't really a believer. My family wasn't religious at all. And my only experience with church was overall during the holidays, or if there was a church event that some of my friends would invite me to. I think my unfamiliarity with Jesus, God, and the Bible overall kind of distanced me from truly being able to accept Christ as my Lord and Savior and truly grasp the goodness of God. And even later on during my life, where my partner, my girlfriend, became pretty in tune with Christ, I still struggled to kind of accept it into my life. And the more she kind of tried to convince me to attend church, believe in God, the more I kind of pushed back. So I think overall that was mostly attributed to my unfamiliarity with Christianity as a whole. But things later started to shift early in February, where I decided to come back to New Life and attend on one Sunday after service. I ended up sitting at a table with Brian and Julie. We were having lunch. It was just them at the time, but pretty soon most of the house church members were filling in, and I felt kind of overwhelmed at first because I thought it was just 2 people, just sit there, have my lunch, and get out. But they kindly invited me to house church that upcoming Friday, and I remember that was like kind of like a turning point. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I decided to give it a shot and attended house church that Friday. But before that, actually, Pastor Eric sat down with me and asked me a bunch of questions during lunch, and he was like, "Yeah, so how did you come to New Life? What was your religious background and all that jazz?" And I appreciate him taking the time out of his day to sit with me that day. But yeah, I didn't really know what to expect with house church, but as a VIP, I decided to go ahead and attend and hope for the best. That Friday, I was met with warmth, kindness, and a genuine sense of community, something that I felt was kind of missing from my life up until that point. Everyone shared, listened, offered thoughtful advice, and we sat down, had a meal together, and it was really great. Everyone showed genuine care into my life, and from that night forward, I began looking forward to Friday's house church. I began wanting to attend house church week after week, and I kept coming back for some reason. At first, I didn't know why, but as the weeks piled on and the attendance piled on, I began to realize that it was a reflection of something bigger. And over time, I started to build real relationships with the members of our house church. And looking back, I now realize that the commitment to attend house church week in, week out, to show up, open up, and be vulnerable to these people was a reflection of what it means to open your heart to Jesus. Slowly but surely, I felt myself changing. I began to put others before myself. I started to let go of some of the fear of the unknown that had held me back throughout all these years. And I realized that more than anything, I was being drawn into something greater in life. And that Jesus, God, the Bible, church was not just a concept, but someone that I was beginning to trust, know, and follow. And then Bryan and Julie gently coerced me into signing up for RJM over a delicious dinner. Thank you. However, by that point, the dinner was just the icing on the cake because I had truly believed that I was ready to accept Jesus into my life. So when RJM came around, I felt ready to stop overthinking about things, ready to stop hesitating, and ready to say yes to Jesus. Not just in theory, but with my whole heart. That weekend, I accepted Christ, and a couple weekends later on Easter Sunday, I was baptized by Pastor Eric, a day that's pretty easy to remember, to say the least. And I have to extend a special thanks to Bryan and Julie for being such great shepherds, and that they even drove 4 hours the morning of to be able to attend my baptism. I really appreciate that. And that truly means a lot to me. So since then, I've been able to experience what it means to live a life centered around myself. Not centered around myself, sorry, but centered around Jesus. Sorry, prose is not my forte. So in that shift, I experienced Joy, or joy. So Jesus, and then others, and then yourself, as we've heard in the sermon so far. I found purpose. I found brothers and sisters who I can share the long journey ahead with. And, receiving Jesus has given me a life worth living. A life where I can serve others without needing anything in return. And a life, more importantly, where I can serve God and Jesus without thinking about myself first. And a life where I can wake up every day and choose to follow something or someone greater than myself. So overall, I hope this testimony serves as a reassurance to those of you who are working hard to bring VIPs into the light. You really are doing a great job, and it really means a lot to those of you who are reaching out to. And to those who are VIPs in the audience or in the future, I hope this message finds you well. It's never too late to give a second chance at life another try. I'm thankful for this community for welcoming me, walking with me, and showing me what it's like to be in service of Jesus. And most of all, I'm thankful to God for pursuing me even when I didn't know I needed him the most. Thank you.